Welcome to the Funky Latina podcast, where community, culture, and music collide. I'm your host, Elisa, the Funky Latina. We'll discuss what I'm listening to, events you can't miss, and your new favorite Latin indie artists. Press play and let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Funky Latina podcast. I'm your host, Elisa, the Funky Latina. I've missed you guys so much that I had to do an episode back to back. The Funky Latina is back. The podcast is back. And I'm so excited for this episode today because we have a very special guest interview. We're interviewing one of my favorite local Latin indie artists because, this is the Funky Latina podcast where you discover your new favorite artists. And that's my job. My job is to put you on. And I'm really excited because not only am I going to introduce you to Benny Moralez, who has his EP dropping. Well, by the time you hear this, his EP, Running Man, will be out. But I'm super excited because he has invited me to host his EP release party. So excited to listen to this album with some fellow music lovers and just to be among the Phoenix music community. Super excited for that. Benny Moralez, he is an independent Latin indie artist. Sounds a little bit like Dominic Fike with a little bit of mix of Omar Apollo, alternative rock, and I just really love his music. I'm so excited because he just released his brand new EP, Running Man. Go listen to it on all streaming platforms, and I'm really excited to interview him. He's somebody that I've met through music, and I've grown to love his music, his more recent music, and it's just been really fun to get to know him and to see him develop as an artist. And from what I hear, he has some pretty good music on the way as well. So really excited to talk to him, get to know him, talk about this EP that he just dropped. So what are we waiting for? Press play and let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Elisa, the Funky Latina. Welcome back to the Funky Latina podcast. I'm super excited because I have a very special guest in the house today. I actually know him. And I love him. I love his music. I love that he came to the Funky Latina Fest. I'm really excited for him to become one of your new favorite Latin indie artists. And like I said, I know a lot about him, but I think he wants to tell you about him. So please meet Benny Moralez.
How's it going? I'm Benny Moralez, and I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And yeah, make music, alternative. So I'm super excited. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I've been wanting to chat with you, and like I said, we're friends socially, so I've been trying to save a lot of these questions for the podcast so that we can give everybody the first reaction, the in-depth look behind your music. So I'd love to know, and I'm sure your new and future fans want to know, how did you get started in music?
Yeah, for sure. Rock band. I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 years old. Me, my sister, my brother, were really good at rock band. And then my brother was in like a rock band club in like middle school.
Wow.
So he was like, but he played the actual guitar. So
Okay.
I saw him play and I was like, that's what I wanted to do. Before that, I wanted to be a soccer player. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was definitely where I started. We played guitar, drums, that whole thing. And that's kind of how it started. And then later on, like producing and mixing and mastering came way later.
So about how old were you when you started? Like picked up a guitar, I guess?
8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so do you feel, it sounds like your family kind of influenced you to like pick up a guitar, but are there any influences from like your cultural background that comes into your music?
For sure. My dad's actually part of this band called Inca Gold. He does like pan
cool.
flute, and then my uncle does like a nylon string guitar. So they've been playing music their entire lives. So I grew up with them doing it. Completely different genre, but yeah, they grew up with that. And then my other uncle was in like a couple like heavy metal bands. So my grandma was like a mariachi singer. So
wow. Okay, so
it was kind of like it's in the DNA.
Music is
for
definitely
sure.
in your DNA. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's so cool. Okay, so you talked a little bit about your dad being in a band. You have mariachi family members. What is your cultural background?
Yeah, so my dad's from Ibarra, Ecuador.
Oh, cool.
So he's from Ecuador. His dad's from like I think Spain and Ecuador. He's a mix. And then my mom is from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
So yeah, growing up is interesting because like my grandpa was in the Chicano Revolution when he was like in college.
Oh, wow.
So he would identify as like Chicano.
Yeah.
But after leaving New Mexico, I noticed that that term is kind of like doesn't necessarily hit where I am because I'm not really Mexican American.
Yeah.
I'm really like indigenous from like northern New Mexico, like the pueblos there.
Yeah.
It's like Native American, and then you mix that with Ecuador, so I'm like, I'm brown.
That's
Like I like everything all the above. Like
I love that your dad. Well, okay, so I actually did major in Chicano studies, so I know a little bit about my history. You should learn about it. And the way I don't know, I identify as a lot of things. Like
it's a mix. Like
yeah, because
mestizo,
I think
Chicano.
like words have power, and like for me, I think like being Latina, being Afro Latina, being Mexican Chicano, but I think specifically being Chicano, like I think that's like a state of mind, and that came out of like the 1960s Chicano Revolution, and so that is really cool.
Well, ultimately, I identify as a child of God, so
Period.
you know.
Amen. I'd love to talk a little bit more about you as a musician and an artist. Was there like a moment where because you're entering like adulthood as a musician, was there a moment where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do, I want to take music seriously, I want to make a career out of it?
Yeah, definitely. It was very interesting. I think I had like a slower curve with making that decision. I think I was in a sophomore year of high school, and there was like a presentation about memory, and I kind of dropped the guitar for a little bit just because I was like playing sports and kind of just doing high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the lady was saying how like if you just stop learning at that age, like over time you're just gonna forget. And I was like, I cannot forget how to play guitar. So then I started learning how to write music, and then got into like producing. And I would say about 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, I want to do this like from scratch, learn how to write songs, produce it, photo shoots. I would say 6 months ago was like when I wanted to start like doing the whole branding thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
for sure.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty recent, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool that one, you play an instrument, two, that you produce your own music, and being like whether you're a full-time artist or whether you're an artist or a creative, it's a full-time job. Even if some of us have full-time jobs, you still like never stop creating, and so it's cool that you're leaning into like social media and taking it seriously, because that's another way people discover your music.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So I'd love to know, this is kind of talks a little bit about, we're talking about music and art, and I'd love to know, this is kind of, I don't know if this is a controversial question or not, but like, what do you think about the social media influence on like music and art, and as also like AI's impact on that?
100%. AI, we can just like, we can just I think we should just get rid of
You are Funky Latina approved.
In terms of creativity, that should just not even, just put that in the garbage for sure.
Yeah.
Music. The internet is a very interesting thing because there's like definitely pros and cons to it. I think before the internet, music was, you had to go through a label.
Yeah.
For sure. So people would sign crazy contracts. That's some of the biggest artists, like the whole 365 deal. Like,
yes.
But they would get what they wanted. They became superstar. Obviously, that was how it worked for the longest time. But now you can kind of create your own fan base through the internet. And obviously, like labels, like you hear the big names for sure. But I'm starting to feel like there's like an underground scene of people finding community through the internet. So I think that's the biggest plus of like finding your people is the biggest thing. I think everyone's starting to slowly get tired of like the TikTok trendy things, and then finding their people. So
no, that's true. I love what you said, because it empowers the artist. Like, you get to take control. You're not like forced to put out 10 albums in 2 years. Like 100%. You get to like take your time with your creative, and then you also get access to so many people on TikTok. And I think too, I really believe that there's an audience for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, there is somebody out there who's listening to this podcast who is probably Latina with curly hair and loves Beyonce almost as much as me. So there is a community, I think, for everybody and for all types of music lovers. So I think that's cool that you're using social media to your advantage to elevate you as an artist, but to also create music.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we kind of talked a little bit about like social media, AI, but has there been a challenge like in the industry, like that you've had to overcome, or just as an artist or as a musician, a challenge you've had to overcome?
Learning how to pose behind a camera.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty new to me. I'm the kind of person that just likes to perform and likes to mix and master, then taking photos, and like that was kind of interesting, even though I'm comfortable playing music. But that one, and then for a year I worked in a recording studio. I thought that's what I would like want to do, is work in a studio, and pouring into like other musicians is really cool, but I think investing in yourself is like, man, it's like a whole different feeling. So
That's so
sure those
cool.
two things have been a recent
No, that
hurdle.
I love that you said that because like I feel the same way in a like just as a music industry professional, I was doing managing for artist booking and I was
Yeah,
like, dang man, I'm working really hard for
juggling.
these people and it's like, why am I not working that hard for myself or putting that energy to myself? And
Yeah,
some people might be like, oh, that sounds selfish. And I'm like, it actually is a better business mindset. It's more
yeah,
strategic and it's like it's I think it's smart because you're taking care of yourself and doing
yeah,
what you love.
for sure.
So I love that. I'm so excited for your new music. So for let's first talk about your music. How would you describe it?
Hmm.
Like tell your fans like, "Hey, introduce
For
yourself.
sure.
What kind of music you make and why should we listen to you?"
Yeah, right now the era I'm in is like for sure like a throwback to like 2000 Y2K alternative. Weezer, Wheatus, I feel like Dominic Fike, Omar Apollo.
Okay.
So a bit of like hard rock guitars with like an 808 background. It's kind of like that. That's yeah, for sure. Definitely like it's almost like a young adult, like maybe like kind of breaking away from their normal habits of living after like 18 because you're like asking yourself a lot of questions. What do I want to
Yeah.
do? Where do I want to go? Like, do I want to like make sure like I make mom and pop proud? Like those kind of questions is like kind of for like the runner of like the wanderer, so to speak, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I love that. You mentioned a wide range of artists because I have two older brothers. One of them loves Weezer, another one loves Omar Apollo. And so I think that's cool and speaks to like future listeners and future fans. It's like
Mhm.
if you like this kind of music, you're gonna love Benny Moralez.
Yeah.
So speaking of music and you, can you tell us a little bit about your new EP that's coming out soon?
Of course,
I
yeah.
know you have a listening party coming out
Yeah, we're gonna have a
soon.
listening party this Saturday. Super
Hey, hey,
excited.
hey, pull up.
Pull up, pull up. But yeah, this EP that means a lot to me for sure. I've had an EP before, I've released on SoundCloud before, but this one was like the first time I was like, we gotta do like something full throttle.
Yeah.
It's basically, yeah, just a kind of a coming of age. I think it's very interesting, like the early 20s, mid 20s, it kind of feels like you're in elementary again because you're kind of like, when you're younger, you're kind of like, you find out things that you like. And then you go to
Yes.
school and then people will tell you like, no, that's not cool, or that's like, and then you start training yourself how to fit in. And it's like, wait, that's a horrible mindset. When you're 21, it's kind of like, I'm just kind of rediscovering what I like and what I want to do. And that's like all in this EP of like living in, different places, learning a lot of different things. So for sure. Yeah.
So I've been really lucky to get like an advanced listening of it. I've talked about a couple songs on Instagram and I would describe it as almost like a journal. It's like a journal and what I really like about it, for me, when I listen to an album, like I want to be like taken on a journey and I feel like every track is kind of like a different chapter in a certain like part of not maybe it's your life, maybe it's your muse's life. You know, whoever's listening to, I think takes different things away from it. But that's what I really liked the best about it was how it flowed. And I really love, probably my favorite track is Apocalypse Now because I like always go towards upbeat music, but it's kind of sad. It's also kind of sad. It's kind of a sad song, but it's
Yeah.
you're listening to it and it's very real. It's very honest. And it's like, maybe it's all, or another reason I probably like it is because I think music is tied to memories, but it's also tied to like, you know, maybe what I'm going through right now, I can relate to that song in this moment. And that's probably why I'm also like really into it. And I think like in 5 years, whenever I hear that song, I'm gonna be like, oh, I remember that song because, you know, that was whatever was going on in my life
Yeah.
during that time. But no, I love that. I love the EP. I'm super excited for more music for you. And I have a couple more questions before we wrap up. So let's talk a little bit more about the EP. Anyone who is getting ready to listen to it, because it's out. By the time you guys see this, it's gonna be out. You're gonna want to follow him on all streaming platforms. What kind of world did you create, or how do you want them to feel when they're listening to it?
Dang, I want them to feel like it's a good question.
Like when they
Like
press play, where is this gonna take them to?
I want them to feel like to be like on go mode. Like even though it's like whatever's going on in your life, whatever you got, like everyone has problems that's going on. You got like deadlines, you got like dreams and aspirations, you want like relationships to maintain. It's like as long as you're moving forward, like it for me it's like a running kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions go on when you're like running, you have like you start thinking about the past, you're man, I'm tired, like all those kind of emotions, like that's like how I want them to feel, like whether they're being still or for sure. Just like it's now or never kind of a thing for sure.
Yeah. And I know like, you know, it's called Running Man, but it really that song really is like a good song to run to because like it has like a really good beat. I'm getting back into running, so that'll be on my running playlist for sure. Is there a specific song on the EP that was maybe like a challenge to write or that holds like a really special moment or memory for you, or was just like a challenge to break through?
You know what's crazy is the hardest song to write was All Star Chuck Taylor.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of them really flowed really easily, but All Star Chuck Taylor was gonna be like I was just gonna cut it because I didn't have any sort of like lyrics to it. It had a whole different beat. There was like a whole, or it had the same beat, but just different flow. And I liked the chorus so much, and I was like, man, like I don't know what to do here, but it sounded really good as a demo. And I played it for people when it was just in the bare bones of the stages. They liked it, so I was like, how can I revisit it? So I revisited it like 3 times, like scratched it, cut it, start over, started from zero for lyrics. So that one took a minute for sure. That one's probably the one that's like the hardest one, which is like so funny. It's like such an easy like pop rock song.
Yeah.
But I think that one's kind of a challenge for me.
I love that. No, that the whole, and I also appreciate EPs. I think it's cool that people are, I mean, go ahead, you know, if you want to be Taylor Swift and make like a 20 album, 30 album, 3 songs, like go ahead. I'm probably not going to listen to all of it, but I really like albums EPs that are succinct, like, you know, 5, 6 songs that can take you on a journey, that can be cinematic, that can like make you feel something. Like you don't necessarily need like 10, 15 songs all the time. And then I just think it like makes people want more from the artist. So speaking of, what's next? What's next for Benny Moralez?
Halloween or the fall for sure. I have a whole plan for that, but I'll keep it on the keep it on the lookout for sure in the fall.
So if we want to like keep up with you and get ready for Halloween with you, how can we follow you? How can we support you?
Yeah,
where can we listen to your music?
All platforms. By the time you hear this, Benny Moralez, it's with a Z, so BennyMoralez. And then Instagram is Benny I Morales, and find me up there. Keep me up there, sure.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me? You're welcome to ask anything. I brought you into the studio to get personal.
Yeah. Wait, Apocalypse Now was your favorite song?
That's my favorite.
What's like your second? What's like your...
That's tough.
Or the unreleased ones, actually. Out of the 3 that were not out yet. Like, which one was...
I'm like Sex, because I've been watching Love Island. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's good. Great song. Listen to it if you're into that. If you're watching Love Island, you're probably going to like that one too. No, it's probably Running Man, because like, when I heard that one, I instantly connected with it. And I was literally like, I'm going to put this on my running playlist.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one of the second one after Apocalypse Now. But I think Apocalypse Now definitely holds like a special place, because other than like going through like your old music and YouTube, that would be the song that like introduced me to you. So that one has a special place.
Sick.
Nice. Well, anything else you want to tell your followers or listeners before I have one more question. And it's a question I ask all my guests. Okay. And I want to know, what was the first concert you went to?
Well, that's a good question. I think. I'm trying to remember what it is.
And it could be like the one you actually remember, or like you pick. Because I know some people are like, well, I had to go to this show with my parent. And I'm like, well, if you want to count that, you can count it.
It was Social Distortion. Yeah, it was like a punk rock. And we were like too young to like even go to the front. So we had to go to the handicap section.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, because we couldn't get in the mosh or anything like that. But yeah, that was it. Social Distortion. I think Mana.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. I gotta see Mana at least like once a year for sure.
You have bilingual music out right now?
Not yet.
Is it on the way?
I might need some help with that one.
Okay.
Because I think I speak Spanish, but I need some help with like I'm more of a Spanish kind of guy.
So I know a guy.
All right. Yeah.
His name's Bad Bunny.
We can work on it.
Give him a call.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'll send him a message.
Okay, sounds good.
He'll get back to me. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really
cool.
I
feel like if it feels right, if it works
played with
out.
It before.
Yeah.
I've done like kind of like some ideas, and I was like sent to my cousin. I'm like, hey, am I saying this right? Like, he's like, yeah, fix this. But maybe like a chorus and have someone do the verses or something like that.
That would be really cool. I think it's fun to go back and forth. And as someone who is not fluent in Spanish, but I'm fluent in Selena and fluent in reggaeton.
I also yearn in Spanish. You know, like,
see?
You know, I yearn like.
I love in Spanish.
Time to yearn in Spanish.
Yes, always, always. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Before we wrap up, is there anyone you want to shout out or tell us like what you got going on next?
My dad, of course, Andres Morales. Man, if I could be half the man you are, like, I'm success for sure. So I want to shout out my dad.
Oh, that's sweet. We'll put his dad's Instagram right here too, so you can follow his band.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Funky Latina podcast. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Benny Moralez just as much as I did. I had such a great time talking about his musical journey and specifically his cultural background. It's so cool to know that he has so many musicians and musically inclined people in his family. I definitely think that when you have that influence, you can't help but become a music lover, become a musician, become an artist. And so it was just really cool to talk to him and hear how all of that has shaped him, his music, and his artistry. So that was super cool. And I'm not gonna let you guys go without talking a little bit more about his EP, The Running Man, specifically one song in particular that I have loved. This is what I'm listening to right now. It's Apocalypse Now, which is on Benny Moralez' EP, Running Man. And what I love about this song is, first of all, an upbeat song is always going to get me. I'm going to go for the upbeat song every single time, twice on Sunday. So I really love that it's an upbeat song and it's super catchy. It's an earworm. Apocalypse right now. But it's also very sad. This song is, from my perspective, about a guy who is running out of time, running ragged, running here, running there, just being ran around by life. And at the end of the day, all he wants to do is be with the one that he loves. So maybe the people on Love Island need to listen to this song and get some perspective, okay? My favorite song from Benny Moralez' EP, Running Man, is definitely Apocalypse Now. And I think that one of the other reasons, in addition to being a great song, that I love this song is because it was kind of how I was introduced to his music. When I knew I was going to meet him and interview him, I did a deep dive into his older music, but I feel like I met the artist Benny Moralez at the Running Man EP. I met him at Apocalypse Now, and I'm super excited to see where he goes from here. It's really cool to meet Latino artists that make this kind of music a little bit indie, a little bit punk, a little bit rock, a whole lot of soul. And I think that if you like artists like Dominic Fike, Omar Apollo, Luna, you're gonna love Benny Moralez. Check out the EP Running Man by Benny Moralez, and I'll be sending you all lots of paz, love, and funk.